Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Montrell here, coming from Studio G. A wonderful Wednesday afternoon. It is a little rainy outside, but that's okay. I'm in studio today with a good friend of mine, a brother, grandpa, some of everything that's in here with me. I'm in here with brother Wayland Johnson, and we're going to hear his story, his testimonies, and then we're going to ask him some life reflection, faith questions on a lot of things. Not the similar ones we did yesterday with brother Matt, but we're going to do some different ones, and we're just going to have fun today, and he's going to give some tips on how to be successful in life and in business, because this brother here is more successful than I am. So, brother Wayland, if you want to hop on your mic right there, introduce yourself to the people. We do love you and glorify you every single day. So go ahead and introduce yourself, brother Wayland.
Thank you, brother Montel.
Yeah.
Montrell.
Montrell.
Right, and it never mind.
Yeah.
I'm Wayland Johnson Jr. We both are members of First Baptist Church in South Holland. My wife and I live in Chicago in the Roseland Pullman area, and we have been members of First Baptist. We started at the Roseland Chapel, and that was maybe 18 years ago,
Okay.
thereabouts. They came to the house and they basically solicited the kids, and they had a Sunday afternoon service, which at the time appealed to me because I got up early 6 days a week. Oh, I don't have to get up early to go to church. And then we're interested in it because of the children, and because of our upbringing. We both felt
Wow.
that you can't send your kids to church. You have
Yep.
to go with them because it just doesn't work the same way. So we got in the church of Brother Ted Spears originally, who's been in Ghana, Africa, what, 10, 15, about 15 years
15, going on 16 years.
now?
Yep.
Going on 16 years.
Yep.
So he was our first pastor at Roseland on 113th and Edinburgh. Great guy, and just really like most of the pastors that I've come across over here at First Baptist, which Hammond is our parent church, and school. But basically, most of the pastors I've come across, they're really steeped in the Bible, which was the thing that absolutely attracted me.
Nice.
I grew up in the Catholic Church. Basically, back then, that was my mom, as I learned now, was totally dissatisfied with the public school system, and that was the alternative at the time. And the stipulation was that you had to take catechism
Yeah.
and convert to Catholicism
Oh,
in
man.
order to go to the school. So that's what I did. I was in Catholic schools from second grade through my senior year. I started at St. Francis de Sales on the southeast side,
Nice.
and I graduated from Leo Catholic High School on 79th Street. Shout out to Leo. Brother Ross is doing a
Oh,
tremendous
yeah.
job. I'm going to also give a shout out to my neighbor, Panchita Moore. Happy birthday, Panchita. Her son went, as part of Leo, they went to the Olympics in Paris as
Yeah, that's
double
right.
Dutch as an exhibition sport.
Wow, I didn't know they did
And
that.
what I told her recently was, hey, you didn't tell me that he was in the choir that has been getting props for. They were on America's Got Talent.
Yeah.
They did the White Sox game, and they went. I think they were at the same White Sox game
Yep.
that the Pope.
The Pope was at. Yep.
Yeah, well, he wasn't there, but
No,
we
he
know what he
videoed.
means.
Yeah.
But so like I said, I'm proud to be a graduate of Leo and that part.
Yeah.
But the difference between, yeah, probably more than this, but in my own opinion, is the Catholic Church never really promoted, encouraged me to read the Bible and
Right.
study the Bible. They basically, hey, we'll tell you what's in it. Here, we'll sit down and tell you the story about Abraham, all the great stories
Yeah.
that everybody seems to know. And they kind of gave their spin on it as opposed to having you research it
Yep.
for yourself. I guess the premise now is, how can you love me if you don't know me?
Exactly.
So the more, and absolutely, my wife is a Bible scholar, and
Yeah.
I get some of it through osmosis. She reads and listens to it being played, and then they go through the study guide and so forth. So I eavesdrop a little bit how I happened to hear our pastor the other morning because I think he sneaks on the radio. I
Yeah.
know that they don't tell him until the last
Yeah.
minute. Many times I get that, but as with you,
Yeah.
I'm still not going to pass up an opportunity to tease
Yeah.
him.
Not always. We did it yesterday.
Right. But anyway, I tease him, his whole family. His mother-in-law, Lola Cook, is as I tell her, she's my favorite person in the world to mess with. And he is like in the running for that. But they're one of my favorite families. I wore the shirt on
Yeah.
purpose. This was my family reunion.
Yeah.
Actually, our first big one. And we had turned out from folks came from Atlanta and
Yeah.
several other places. It was huge. It was out at Wampum Lake. I just saw a nice piece on that. And Montrell and Lola and his wife and his sister-in-law were the only outside people that I
Yep.
invited to my family.
We was the only
reunion.
outside ones
So
there.
I kind of can tell you what I think about him. So if I tease him, it's just kind of out of
Yeah,
love.
it's fun. It's fun because we listen and talk to each other a lot. Even he calls me on the weekend like, man, wait, you
And
finally
he
called me.
returned the last time. I'm on the air with him because he actually returned the phone call the same day. He tells me, I want to get more interested in politics. Well, anyway.
Yeah, I finally called back the same day.
The same day.
And it was
There's hope yet.
There was hope. There was hope. He was shocked that I called back. He's like, oh my goodness, the same day phone call. Yeah, it finally happened. So we're on YouTube and Facebook. This is the second time we've been on YouTube. The first video I did with Brother Matt, which a lot of people enjoy and a lot of people had an opportunity to listen to. And then YouTube, listen, go like, subscribe on YouTube, follow and subscribe on Facebook as well too, because I can't do this without you guys helping me to reach so many other people that's on here. So we're gonna be talking about a lot of things on here today. I call this story time with Brother Wayland and politics or politician. We're gonna talk. I love politics. He does too, but we're not gonna get deeply into it like we normally do when we're talking over the phone or things like that. But we're gonna get deep into some of it. But I want to get deep into Brother Wayland's story. I think it was going on 16 years since First Baptist Church been on this property. You and your wife did a video with us.
Yes.
Two videos with us. One for our new video to explain why we've been on this property for 16 years, and then another one where my wife and my sister-in-law was younger as well. And I think that was when you guys
we did it to I think it was to raise money for the chapel in Roseland as well as for this chapel. I think we were looking at the property.
Yeah.
It seems like that. Pastor Brandon broadcast from the property, and we were actually, I think, looking at a couple of properties at that point in time.
Because I know it was one property we was looking at that was down the street, right off of Park Avenue, across the street from the gas station, which is now called Gracia de Casia. This pastor's brother Freddie DeAndes, who is the pastor of that church now, and he's down the street down there. But we was looking at that one. We was looking at it much, but I guess God let everybody, Brother Danny, hear, and we've been on this property for 16 years, and we have grown over the time. We lose people, which every church do, and we gain people. Like always, we got two new members who just joined our church this past Sunday and are getting baptized this coming Sunday.
Yes, and I'm going to take this opportunity to give another shout out to Brother Richard Brown.
Yeah, Brother Richard.
Cook Brown, is it?
Richard Cook Brown.
Yeah. Yes, he has a new member. He brought new life, and he's a bus driver.
Yes, sir.
I couldn't be a bus driver, a teacher, or a cop. I just couldn't do it. And there's a reason that my wife will not let me carry concealed. I just don't have the patience for that. But he apparently does. He's brought folks with him, and he just that little shout out to Brother Richard.
Man, Brother Richard's been awesome. He helps me around the church, cleaning the church, and he helps me with his weed whacker. He does a lot, so we want to give a good shout out to Brother Richard Cook Brown is his name, and it's because mine says Otey, and now my wife's is good. So it's really good to be up on here and to use this platform to a lot of good extents. We've been on the radio maybe once or twice together. With 90.5 the Key FM with Brother Danny most of the time. It was me, you, Brother James Anderson also was on with us that day.
Really he's always interesting to listen to. He's a very
Yeah.
spirit man,
Yeah.
and he always brings a just a, and uh, listen. Not only is the word directly from the Bible,
Yep.
but it is practical stuff that we can use today.
Exactly.
You know, so
Yeah, it's been awesome, and me and my wife, we hang out with James and his wife, and my son plays on the same team with his son, and they like hanging out every time we hang out with them. So we got a lot of friends, a lot of spiritual friends that we hung out with so many times and things like that, and we get a chance to go out to eat doing like you guys going out tomorrow
yes, yes,
with the
yes.
pastor. I'll be at work suckersly, but that's okay.
Work.
Uh, yeah, I know work.
I remember work. I'm supposed to be retired, but
Going out to round the clock to Ma and having a good old time. That's our best years club. We call it best years because a lot of our. But I don't want to get in trouble, so I'm not gonna really speak into the best years part. My mother-in-law might be watching, and I don't want to get in trouble. She might find me and slap me upside the head. But it's really good, and we love having Brother Wayland on here, especially his wife. You have the ones I met, four awesome grandkids that normally comes with you to church and on our camp on the road.
You recently saw we had just come from. I mean, just go back. My oldest two grandsons. Okay, Chris. And Carson.
Yes.
They went to Camp Joy.
Yes.
Church Bible camp in Whitewater, Wisconsin. So we drove them up there, dropped them off. They had a wonderful time. And then when we picked them up, we had the other two kids with us, Soraya and Tavion, who he's going to be 3 coming up August the 10th. So those are the 4 potty trained grandkids. So we took them to up to Lake Geneva. Well, I'll say where we went actually, Christmas Mountain. I did a commercial for them, a resort I hadn't heard of, and they had all kind of great stuff to do.
Wow.
3 swimming pools, outdoor, 1 indoor, and bunch of stuff that you normally do with your family on vacation and that kind of stuff. So those were the 4. So quickly I went from 1 to 7. It seemed like in no time. But and then like when I had kids, people asked me did I want a boy or girl, and I said, well, it doesn't matter now because they all play sports. So,
that's the best thing about it.
Part. But anyway, yes.
So we love those. We love them a lot, and they've been happy to come with us. They came with us to Florida, which was a fun trip. We went to Magic Kingdom. We went to Universal Studio, and then we also got a chance to go to Pastor Danny's home church in Georgia, and with his family. They had great food. We didn't get back until Monday morning, about 5 that morning, and then we came, and then we all went home tired, and then got up for church that same week, and it was like, oh, no recovery whatsoever. And then Camp Joy, your grandson went to Camp Joy. I bet he loved it over there in Camp Joy.
They really did. I will tell you, my oldest grandson is 10.
Yeah.
And he was reluctant to say grace when we would eat.
Nice.
But after the camp, he was mad that he missed the turn in saying grace. And he and his brother Carson, who is kind of the same thing, was a little shy about it. They both said grace, and they both thanked Jesus for dying and
that is
opening
so
the door to heaven. And let me go forward to So they came to church, and when the pastor did the altar call, my oldest grandson raised his hand, and the pastor asked, and I didn't realize my wife had to tell me later that she was talking to my grandson. He said, "Are you raising your hand, or are you stretching?" And he said he was raising his hand. He wasn't sure if he died today, if he would go to heaven. So we, of course, talked to him and asked him, would you like someone to explain it to you? And his shyness, and we went through a litany of a few folks did, and he was, no, I don't want to bother anybody. So that's a code for I'm too shy to do it. But I did give him a Bible tract, which he immediately started to read. And I told him, I said, if you want to talk about it, or if you have questions or that kind of thing, that was very encouraging.
That's awesome.
So that, and look, I will say this
Yeah.
and Brother Gennaro, the pastor, and Brother Matt Perkins. You guys, the way that you're raising your kids in the church is really an inspiration to me. It, um, all of my grandkids are actually in Indiana, in Gary, and in East Lafayette. So
Yeah.
we don't get the chance to hang out with them like we would like to.
Right.
But that would be something that I miss. That part of kind of indoctrinating them into explaining to them how
Sure.
that's so
Yeah.
pertinent
Yep.
in their
Definitely.
lives and how they live their lives and
Right.
so forth. I was trying to explain to my grandson that and explaining, kind of comparing the situation with God
Mm-hmm.
and the situation with his mom is
Right.
a single parent,
Yes.
and she's got several siblings, and I tell him he's the oldest child,
Mm-hmm.
and that you it's important for you to help your mom because
Right.
of the situation that you're in,
Mm.
and your mom gives you orders like God gives us orders,
Yes, sir.
and you're going to do them because those are orders.
Yep.
And let's call it the fear factor and all the other factors. But you're also going to do it out of love.
Yes.
That you know your mom, you know that the things she tells you to do are out of love.
Yep.
And that you're going to do it in your way to manifest
Yeah.
that love back to her. And that's kind of the same way,
Same way.
with God. He gives you orders, but he doesn't want you to do them because you're scared or you're scared of hell. That's all there, but he wants you to do it because you know him, you know what he did for you, and this is the very least I'm trying to show you.
Yeah.
Reciprocate that love back to you.
Wow.
And then, of course, look, my wife doesn't understand this. My wife and my mom were only children, which is why I have two children. And listen, this church, the Baptists are like the Catholics. They believe in procreation. But I only wanted two, and I teased my pastor. I'm glad I got to this church late, because but by her being an only child, she does not understand at all. It was four of us, two boys, two girls. I'm the second oldest, and she does not understand that sibling bickering and fighting. And he looked at me, and he got my toy. So he goes through that with his brother, and so I was trying to kind of tell him that, look, that's stress on your mom when you do that.
Yeah.
In a way. So what I told him is I related to him that they asked Christ what were the two most important sacraments or laws or whatever. I don't the wording, as you can tell. I don't care about wording.
Yeah. No. You're good.
The original, I call him. I call him the real David. All right, I said it out loud. I said I don't say that out there, but he was not the greatest wordsmith.
Yeah.
And he was quoted as telling the press, "Don't print what I said, print what I meant." So you guys know what I mean. Okay, so that's I asked somebody. Put it in the comments.
Yeah. Ask somebody.
He'll answer.
We'll answer whatever you put in the comments.
Answer you.
I did this yesterday. You can comment below. Any questions you have for Brother Wayland, we will answer as many as we can get. So comment below with any questions about anything. Like I said, finance, you can ask him. Politics, you can ask. Oh, finance, we need his wife here to answer those. We need his wife to answer those. But
my family calls me. I'm like, that's a LeVon
that's
question. Why are you calling
that's
me?
a Miss LeVon question. But anything about his life, you can ask him. Listen. This man will give you the shirt off his back, if you ask him. But you probably gotta pick up the phone and ask him first. But send some questions you want us to ask. You want me to ask him from you guys, and we will most definitely do that. And we appreciate you guys supporting us. But we do have a couple of questions to ask him. We're gonna start with some life reflection. We're gonna start with some life and faith reflection questions first. To get your feet in the water. Well, your feet always been in the water, so it don't really matter. But we're gonna ask some things. We're gonna do some things. Maybe Matt did about like 4 of these questions or 5 of these questions yesterday. For some of you guys who did like the video, thank you guys for that. And for YouTube, people that's watching on YouTube, I appreciate every single one who's watching on YouTube as well too. Trying to get that follow and that subscribe button up as possible as I can to make sure everybody get a chance and opportunity to see these wonderful videos that I make, and things like that. So one of the questions that I asked Brother Matt, which I did say I was going to ask you, is what are some key moments that shape who you are today?
What do you mean, religiously or well?
Life and like you could put life and faith and
Well, I'll tell
religion
you what.
all in
I'll,
there.
I'll start with religion, as I say in church, probably at least 2, 3 times a year. That I probably wouldn't be in church without a praying wife and a praying mom.
Yes.
My mom passed in 2017. She, at one point in time, before I got to First Baptist, my mom and my siblings, we were all at the same church.
Yeah.
And when we left that church, we kind of went in different ways. But my mom would come and support everybody's church.
Yeah.
If we were having a day or an event,
Mhm.
she would always come. We got to know folks here. We got to know her nice. She tied it nice also. And so did my mother-in-law. So does my aunt, and she's still living. And but she would come and she would always say, "I'm very proud of the fact that all 4 of my children are still in church," which is still true. And that was in 2017. So that was kind of basically the thing. Um, as far as life in general, I, I had a lot of good people. I had a lot of good mentors. Um, actually, I got to say this. I was with my nephew the other night, and he's probably 30 plus years younger than me. And we have some great conversations
Amen.
about a little bit of everything. And some of his guys were there and talking, and they were picking, hey, you have some knowledge. And they were wanting to pick my brain. And the one guy, let me get your number. I want to stay in touch. And it's very, very gratifying that look, people shared knowledge with me. And that's how the thing should go.
Yeah.
And but it's hard when it doesn't flow from both directions. One of the things that I posted on Facebook was it's very hard for the village to help you raise your child.
Yeah.
If we can't say anything to you or your
child.
child.
That's true.
And
that is true.
The rest of that proverb is, and I had to get educated on that, was if the village does not help you raise your child, that child will come back and destroy the village. See Black Panther again, folks. Okay, so I mean that's
just
real.
real. Yeah.
And I came up where the village did do that.
Yeah.
My parents. I came from a broken home. My mom married my father twice. She married my stepfather twice.
Wow.
And my dad was in and out of my life. And even with that, he was a strong
Right.
influence in a lot of ways. But my mom was probably more so. She was real strong on education, which is why we went to Catholic school. And it was a financial struggle and that kind of thing. But the thing, she just instilled stuff, and it just stuck. My step grandfather, just a lot of good life lessons, and he would talk about things and tell me things about politics. He'd tell me this about the blacks at the time were dominating baseball. He said that Hispanics are going to dominate baseball. I didn't believe him when I heard it. He said
it's happening now.
that the old green line, they're going to tear that down, and it's going to be townhouses before it happened. And just a lot of good life lessons. I got into politics. I'm a Republican committeeman in the 9th Ward in the city of Chicago. Very many people don't realize that that each ward in the city has there's 50 wards in the city, and each one is entitled to have a committeeman both for the Democratic and the Republican Party. What has happened recently, the Democratic Party, when Pat Quinn was governor, they changed the law to where the committeeman, it used to be kind of a recruit election judges and give them over the names over to the party leadership to appoint. But now the committeemen have the power to appoint election judges. I'm always recruiting election judges.
Always.
They are really the lifeblood of an election. at 5. The poll opens at 6. It closes at 7. Um, the good thing is that the process with computerization and the modernization and it's much more streamlined than it
Yeah.
was way in the old days where you might be there an hour
Yeah.
worse or one thing was off and you had to recount. I've heard all kind of seen and heard
Yeah.
all kind of horror stories, but it's much more streamlined and it's a decent pay. They brought it up. It's probably never gonna be what it should be, but if you take the training, it's like 2 hours plus training, then you get 250 for the day.
Yeah.
Which is
Just good.
reasonable. Some
Yeah.
people think it's. I would put it like this here: the South Side fills up the judge spots. The North and Northwest side take longer to fill because it's not. That 250 is not in the center of it. It's
Yeah.
all over the place. So,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a kind of a neat thing. Actually, many of my close friends and people that have helped me in politics over the years are or have been election judges.
Yep.
My sister and my wife's cousin both got to meet President Obama a couple of times because they were early vote election judges.
Wow.
So I kind of used that to recruit, and
Yeah.
also some of my associates, they got on as early vote election judges, which is like 17 days worth of pay at a decent gig. So it's kind of good. That's kind of my come on to this is what you can be when you come through the system and so forth. And they really the good judges that I got to give a shout out to the Chicago Board of Elections. They really I admire their training program, and they're probably not perfect, but overall, other boards of elections come to monitor some of the stuff they do. So I think that speaks volumes. So really, if you take that class, you really have a good understanding of what the process should be. And I've said this for a long time. I like just fair elections. Okay.
Yep.
I have a sports background, and I've always said I could stand to lose. I said, but I just hate it when you cheat.
Yeah, same.
Just play fair. Beat me fair. That's all.
That's the best thing. The best way to do it.
So that's why to me the judges are just an integral part of the operation.
Yeah, one friend of mine, she told me this yesterday.
As a matter of fact, let me stop you. So my church is amazing. Our church is not big, but we have his mother-in-law, Lola Cook, is an election judge. My wife, LaVon, is an election judge. My daughter, Alexis, is an election judge. And we have who else? Deborah Fowler.
And then we have the Brandon sisters.
And the Brandon sisters. Yes, I had to look on a piece of paper and saw Deborah Fowler's name and call it. So I'm very proud of that fact that, and I say this here, that leads me to one other thing, and we talked about it a little bit before. The voter turnout is absolutely 27. The mayor's race in Dalton, the primary, I don't remember the date, and the Dalton mayor's race, I got phone calls and people, social media, were interested in that race all over the country.
Yeah.
But yet, there was only 27% of the people in Dalton that turned out. Okay, and that was the high watermark for the South suburbs. There were like some 13, 14%.
Yeah.
So it is very disheartening when, I'm one of those people that knocks on doors.
Knocks on doors, call.
And all of that, and it's disheartening that people complain and then you don't turn out to vote.
Yeah.
My grandfather told me this when I was young. He said, if a politician is smart, you got to go see your mayor, your alderman, whatever it is, councilman, whatever it is, whatever your particular issue that's important to you.
Exactly.
So if he's smart, when you come to see him, he will have looked up your voting rate.
Oh.
So if you vote, he don't know if you vote for him or against him, but he knows you voted.
Yeah.
So he's gonna have to listen and pay attention and really think about
what you're
talking about.
Wow.
If I look and see that you never voted, I'm gonna be Montrell. That's very interesting. I'm gonna be sitting here thinking about, man, what I'm gonna eat. So
it's really that's true, and a lot of people should know some politics don't Some of them don't do it. Some of them
Mm-hmm.
do. A friend of mine is Lexa. She went to First Baptist a long time ago. Got some wonderful kids, but because she texted me when we was on Facetime yesterday, she's like, ask Brother Wayland a question. I was like, yeah, what do you want to ask? She's like, he's a politician, man, so he probably can give some clarification to a lot of people out there. She wants to know, do you or is there some things do you agree with President Trump, and if there are some things that you disagree with President Trump?
Well, there actually is. And I tell you what, folks, that's I'm still looking and learning.
Yeah,
I'm still looking and learning, and it's kind of like, what am I looking at? Um, I was a delegate for Nikki Haley. Not
yeah,
that it meant anything for very long, but I like the one thing she said was that she thought that she was part of his administration. I don't even remember her title under his former
I think
administration.
she was an ambassador of something. I don't remember what it was.
Like I said, along that line,
Yeah,
foreign policy certainly.
yeah, something like that.
Um, and she basically had to tell him back then, Mr. President, Russia and China aren't our friends.
Yeah,
Okay,
uh huh.
you look a little too bonzy with them guys, and that stuck out to me. Okay, it stuck out to me.
Yeah,
And the question mark, the things in Ukraine and Russia are still in the air.
yep,
So I still have questions about it, quite frankly. Um, like I said, there's some things that he's done. My associate Steve Bolton uh, has social commentary
yeah,
about it in on social media, and he pointed out, like, this. Look, we had disparities in tariffs. That's been acknowledged.
yeah.
That
Mhm.
that we are getting jacked up when we try to send stuff to other countries, and
Yeah,
the whole thing with China stealing our technology all the
yeah.
time, and China
Doing a lot
propping
of
up
stuff.
their economy to the detriment of our economy.
Mhm.
There's a lot of things
That
that
gets.
needed to be addressed.
Yeah.
For example, male or female on an application. I don't really have a problem with male or female on
Right.
an application. So there's some things I'm
Still
still
trying
looking.
to look.
You
Yeah.
know, I will say this, and I was lucky. I had a meeting with Rhonda Belfer, who is the Illinois Republican National Committee woman. And I only said one thing about DC when I spoke to
Mhm.
her. And I retired from state government. I was a 25 and a half year employee. I worked for the state comptroller's office for 5.5 years, and I worked at workers comp for the last 20 years. I was an assistant to 7 commissioners who were appellate hearing officers for workers comp cases. No two cases were alike.
Yep.
It was quite with a great deal of pride.
Yeah.
I worked there with really good and smart and dedicated people who took each case at its face value,
Right.
and so it was quite something. But I told her that, yeah, certainly any administration, when you come in, you want your own people around you.
Right.
But I pointed out that nobody came in like those
Yeah.
and fired people and then had to rehire them and all of that madness.
Mhm.
And even if I'm not in that group, if I'm sitting there looking at this, my my morale is shaking at the very best.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I pointed out that my mom retired from state government under Jim Edgar. They had an early buyout, but
Mm.
and I was with state government in when one of my favorite governors, George Ryan, had a buyout for folks. And quite frankly, it came down to the people whose kids were out of college
Yeah.
left, and the rest of us we still
We
had to
says
stick it
things.
out. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's bloat in government. There's always gonna be that. It's reasons to cut back and so forth. And certainly in the state of Illinois, we got more elected officials than anybody.
That's true. We do.
And we're all paying for that.
Yeah.
We're all paying for that now. We got the highest. What was the highest property tax?
The highest
Gas
property
taxes.
tax, the highest gas
All
tax.
these kind of things. So it's rough. But anyway, let me circle back to one other thing I've talked about, more so than particular elected officials,
Mhm.
particular offices. I try to talk about politics and being involved in the electoral process.
Yeah.
per capita match us. Okay, but I've talked about that you can empower your family,
Yeah.
you can empower your church, you can empower your block. I knew a guy, brother's name, but anyway, I met him through my guy Percy Coleman when I first got involved in politics. He was a Republican. He had maybe five. He had two flat buildings, and there were maybe 5 or 6 people that voted Republican in the building, and several of them were Republican election judges.
Right.
So what happened? What did the Shaw? Robert Shaw was the alderman. So what did he do? He hired one of them.
Hey, there you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh, that's five.
Yeah.
That's five votes in that house.
That's fine. Yeah.
I'm trying to win the vote. Okay.
That's the good thing.
So, people. This was years ago. Where somebody I live on Prairie Avenue in the city, and somebody said, "Man, everybody on Prairie is an election judge." And I said, "Yeah. What's the problem?" So, like I said, if I got to see my alderman, people, "Oh, you're a Republican?" I said, "Listen, I said my alderman and my state rep, they know who I am because
you got that.
I speak up.
Yeah.
I won't say I complain, but I
speak up. Yeah.
But I also, by the same token of time, when they do something good, I will speak on that also.
There you go.
Okay. People say, "Oh, you were on the radio and you said good things about this Democrat and that Democrat." If whoever is here trying to help my hood, they will get some shout out.
There you go.
And once upon a time, and it's so changed. My mentor, Charles E. Gaines, was people say, "How'd you become a Republican?" At the church I was at, he was a deacon in Chatham.
Yeah.
And my mom said, sit next to him and listen to everything he tells you, which I did for the next 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I quite frankly thought all politicians were crooked, but just hanging out with him and being all over Chatham for the nicest restaurants, the greasy spoons, and having people come up to him and say, "You help me with this, that, and the other. You help somebody get out of jail,
Wow.
keep a job, get a job." I got my state job with the help of Charles E. Gaines, as did my mom.
So that's wow. That's awesome.
So it was just that kind of legacy, and I'm like, man, he's supposed to be the bad guy, but you can be a hero. Where you sign up for this hero stuff? And quite frankly, I was first elected committeeman in 1996. I joked that being a Republican committeeman in the city of Chicago, it only helps you. I say 2 days out of the year.
Yeah.
It's something like that, but it's still. There've been a lot of people that I've been able to assist because I'm in state government.
Right.
Because I was kind of an intergovernmental liaison and got to know folks with city government, state government, etc. And we were able to fix situations and troubleshoot and help folks.
Wow.
And people, what have you done? What can you point to? I got a lot of little victories, okay?
Yep.
I liken it to somebody that works with special needs kids. You're not going to get big victories.
Wow.
But if you can see steady progress and small victories, that's enough to keep you going and sustain you. Wow. One of my favorite stories about how does it help people out. I got a phone call one day. I think I was at work. This guy calls me. He's kind of excited. Wayland, man, the guy you sent me to, I got the job. I start next month, man. I want to thank you. Ooh, man. And I said, okay. I got 2 questions. Who is this?
Mm-hmm.
And who did I send you to? But I think that says something that speaks to success. Yeah. Another milestone that I like, I said it tells me that I'm on the right track.
There you go.
Is when I was working and I get off of the Metro train and walk home, and that's my time to fellowship in the neighborhood and talk to folks. And election time, folks would invariably ask me, "Okay, thank you, invisible person." And people would invariably ask me, "Okay, Wayland, who you vote for? Who should I vote for?" So I got to mess with them, right? I said, "Now you're asking the other team, the Republicans, dude, you know these people, you study this stuff up close and personal. Just answer, because we're going to get a straight answer." So if Democrats think in my neighborhood think I'm going to give them a straight answer, then I think I'm doing something right. So what I have done from that is I, quite frankly, now I do a sample ballot for Democrats and Republicans. Which one you want? You want them both and this, that, and the other.
Wow.
because they came up with a bylaw after the primary election that they were ostracizing people who had voted in the Democratic primary in the last, I think, like 4 election cycles.
Gotcha.
Okay. And my response to that was I fought it tooth and nail to no good.
Getting well.
Whatever. They said it was because of Democratic infiltration. There may have been some of that. To me, there are other remedies.
Yep.
To me, my new voters, that's the only place I'm going to get them from.
Right.
Okay. I have a good friend of mine, Dave, who was one of Mike Madigan's top captains.
Wow.
Who put Bob Ready and Trump signs on his yard. Okay. Because he was fed up with, like a lot of folks. Maybe the party you got into, maybe it's not the party that you expected to be.
Yeah.
I used to say that politics, the laws and the Bible and religion coincide.
It does.
Well, they absolutely don't anymore.
No.
And I don't know. I'd like to take it back to that. And I think this whole thing, and we talk about separation of church and state, but I think we kind of get that twisted.
We do.
The reasons, that doesn't mean that we should not have. A perfect example was my mentor, Charles.
Yeah.
Like I said, he was a very prominent in my church, and he would say that we need moral men in politics as well.
Yeah.
And that should be your guide in politics, just like it's your guide in everyday life.
Exactly.
So,
you're right.
So I just wanted to touch on that.
Yeah. So that's really good. You have you heard this pastor or bishop, whatever he wants to call himself, called Jamal Bryant? He's a pastor of a big church, I believe in Georgia. He's doing a campaign against Target. So they're boycotting Target, which, to me personally, sometimes I shop at Target. Sometimes my wife shop at Target. But a lot of our black people or African Americans, however you want to call it, sugarcoated, but I sugarcoat it as how it is. Listen, we're all black here. Thinks that a lot of things that politicians, no matter if they're Democrat or Republican, there is an old saying that somebody said that one politician, I can't remember his name, saying he's going to have black people voting for Democrat for over 200 years. Lyndon Johnson. Have black people voting for Democrat for over 200 years. And so far, that's literally what's going on. What type of advice would you give to the black community for this upcoming governor election, or I think there's a Congress election coming up?
The petitions for the upcoming next year's election start August the 1st.
Yeah.
We're electing the governor. There's an open seat for U.S. Senator.
Yeah.
Senator Durbin is not running for re-election.
Yep.
We elect all our Congress people because we vote for them every 2 years. We vote for our state reps every 2 years.
That's right.
It's kind of like when you win a state rep, you raise your hand. And when you bring your hand down, you say,
"How you doing?" Yeah.
Rep. So you're always campaigning.
Yeah.
But some of the senators, they bifurcate their terms. So not all the state senators, but it's a lot of them that are up this time. Let me go first of all talk about Target.
Yep.
Now I'm only going to talk about Target as far as folks that are being boycotted.
Yes.
Because they're one of my favorite people to boycott.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, I'm just going to say Target's name, but they're not the only one that, to me, Target, and listen, I've started my politics in Chatham.
Right.
So I sat in on some of the meetings when Target first came to Chatham to 86th and Cottage.
Gotcha.
It was a fight, and like I said, I have vivid memories of them coming in. But to me, there are companies that come in, get tremendous tax breaks.
Right.
And when the tax breaks run out, they run out.
Mm.
So that was kind of my first beef with them when because I was up close and personal for when they came into that particular store.
Right.
So it was I had a kind of issue with them even have a problem with? Is it the diversity? Is it the equity or the inclusion? Which one?
Yeah, which one?
So that part of, to me, I'm kind of, there's some things that I'm not happy with.
With that.
You got to break down why that's such an issue.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say this one thing about the president. Like I said, I talk about it privately. If you catch me privately, I'll say more than I'm gonna say on here.
I guess yeah.
But I will absolutely do not understand why he's spending any time on talking about the Washington Redskins and the Cleveland Indians. Okay, for all of the, there are certain people that whatever he says they don't have an issue with.
Yeah.
But if you a supporter of his and he says things like this, it to me it would make it hard to try to justify standing with him all the time.
Exactly.
That to me is a step backwards, and I'm not happy about that.
Yep. A lot of people are not happy about that.
So that I don't know where that came from. It's kind of, to me, you created an issue where it wasn't an issue.
Yeah.
Where people used to talk about flag burning.
Yeah.
Well, I got a lot of problems. I'm in Roseland, in the city of Chicago. I got a lot of problems, but flag burning has never been a problem.
Yeah.
Okay, so sometimes you just, I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, it's that was one that came up a lot. People always talk about this politics, this. So if you and Brother Wayland can tell you more. He studied this more than I do. I'm just getting my feet wet. Let me tell you something about politics. I'm just getting my feet wet. That's why I hang out with Brother Wayland a lot about it. But a lot of people want to know: do you believe church and politicians should come together and not separate?
Well, I'm gonna give you an answer. I'm not even sure if this is exactly what your question is. I was called by the Sun Times years ago for an interview. Someone who worked for Michael Sneed. I agreed to the interview because Michael Sneed had been very nice to a fellow that ran for office that was a personal friend of mine, Leonard Barr. And 3 times in the interview, and it was not Michael Sneed that called. I must say that. This is the first time I've talked about it on the air.
Yeah.
Because it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I told the person that called, I said, well, and I explained all that. Michael Sneed was very nice to a very good friend of mine, so I'm happy to talk to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
I said, but I asked the person not to quote me. I said it 3 times. Please don't quote me.
Right.
Well, they quoted me, which was very uncomfortable because the person that they called to ask me about was running against Pat Quinn, who I happened to work for at the time.
So that answered the questions there.
The question was, there was a certain preacher who was running for office. And they asked me what I thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of said, well, isn't that the highest calling that there is? Why would you, put that down to pick something else up? And then the other problem with that, and this was particular to Black Chicago, and this was brought up. Like I said, I had the meeting with our national committee woman, and this was one of the things I was brought up then.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the whole committee person structure is in effect that I'm the campaign manager for the Republican Party in the 9th Ward.
Right.
Okay, that's how it changed over years. Once upon a time, the committeemen are way different than what they were, let's say the 50s or 40s or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Patronage system has totally changed over that time. The committeemen used to get the patronage job, not the alderman, not the other folks.
Gotcha.
But now when they rearranged and did away with patronage, and people complain, like, for example, I was a state government employee. So they came in with the Shackman decree, which the governor can only hand appoint X number of people.
Right.
Not even 1,000, and he's got 50,000 state employees, 40,000 ballpark.
Right.
So not many in the grand scheme of
things.
But so they limited him. But what has happened is, the directors of the state agencies, they became the patronage person. And it just took it from there and put it over here.
Right.
And it didn't give you qualified. It didn't guarantee that you got qualified people to come in and actually do the job.
Yep.
So the intent kind of got watered down in my mind.
Wow.
So ask me something else.
So a lot of people they still comment here. One of my friends, her name is Lawanda. She calls herself Ghetto Lawanda, but that's okay. That's neither here or there. She wants to know if
look, I do nicknames, so
so Lawanda, you might
I could do better. I think so.
So a lot of people out there who are the young voters that are coming around now, that are out here, what type of advice would you give them before they go to the polls?
Get educated. I used to say participate. People, hey, you're a Republican. I would first said this at the Billiken Parade in '94. I would rather you vote against me than stay home. Get involved. But quite frankly, getting involved is not enough. You've got to become an educated voter.
Right.
I voted for a judge one time. Oh, I know that name. And then I said, oh, I know that name because they're sanctioning that particular judge. So you got to, you look, for example, on the judges. Everybody, oh, it's all them judges. I don't know them judges. The Bar Association, there are half a dozen bar associations that put out recommendations. That anywhere from highly qualified to not qualified, and they will break it down for you. They interview. That's what their purpose is, to inform the general public.
Right.
There's all kind of black bar associations, and West Suburban bar associations, lesbian bar associations. There's all kind of bar associations that will give you recommendations. Okay?
Wow.
And then now it used to be like the Sun Times and Tribune would give you recommendations, but they have kind of gone back and forth on that.
Yeah.
At one point, the Sun Times, who bought them, they said, well, because of who bought them, they're not going to make recommendations. But then, well, we're going to do it for this, and we're not going to do it for that.
Right.
So that has kind of, it's not quite what it was.
Quite no.
There are groups like with the politicians. If I'm running for office,
right,
I'm going to get, depending on how the higher the office, the more.
Right.
I'm going to get questionnaires from various groups, independent voters of Illinois, to see what my stance or position is on particular things.
Right.
You know, if you meet somebody, now the thing that people getting smarter. Well, I'm running for office here. Check out my website.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you, my positions on this, that, or I'm gonna tell you what I've done, this, that, and the other. So, but don't stay home.
That's a good one.
In 2016, a third of the country stayed home.
That's true.
And then they complained. Look, they had big rallies, the P-hat rallies after the first time, and then they had the big rallies this time. I said, those are the people that are mad because they didn't go out and vote, okay? If you go out and vote, then maybe you don't need a big rally afterwards.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
that is true.
And quite frankly, as a committee person, it is my job to go out, and this is how I was trained, to vet the candidate.
That's right.
Okay? So I can come back and say, hey, look, this guy is going to best represent us. To me, if you don't participate in both primaries, then you're going to just have to settle for what comes out of the other primaries. So how about, I think a good example is when Bruce Rauner got in. I was supporting Kurt Dillard. I was very active in my ASME union. And to me, I like ASME. I'm enjoying a fantastic retirement, and I give them an 85 grade on what they do overall with Roberta and Howard. Oh my God, it retired. But to me, they didn't endorse Judy Bar Topeka over Rob Blagojevich. I think they didn't do an endorsement, which to me was a disservice. I thought she was a better candidate, and history kind of speaks to that. It tells me that maybe I was right, but we'll never know. And then when it came to Kurt Dillard, who was in the primary against Bruce Rauner, they endorsed him, but to me it was too little and too late.
Right.
And it was half-hearted.
Wow.
And some have asked me, crossed over and voted for Kirk Dillard in the primary,
Mm-hmm.
but not enough to make a difference. And so I'd like to see more of that kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Where the unions not necessarily be so locked into a candidate, and I'd like to see my Republican candidates make a case to unions that
Yeah. I would love to see the Republican candidates do that because that will really bring some good stuff for a lot of people.
So let me say this to that. I have talked to statewide candidates, and I've been started having this conversation in 2002. No, I'm sorry, 2022, right before the Billiken Parade.
Yeah.
And I basically said that the voter turnout has been so low because it's a lot of voter absence. I keep doing the same thing and nothing changes, and people say forget about it. Well, my
Yeah.
vote doesn't mean anything. I happen to think the opposite. My best story is the Chicago Heights mayor's race in 1999 was decided by one vote. Look it up.
Wow.
Anthony DeLuca, who's not a state rep, happy belated birthday, Anthony, beat Tommy T.J. Summers, who's now the township supervisor,
Yeah.
by one vote, and there was no recount.
Wow.
Okay? So, when is my vote? One vote put Hitler in office. One vote made English the language in this country instead of Germany. And every now and then, one vote will make a difference. Okay?
One vote makes a difference.
I actually had a situation with my union with a vote that involved a lot of money, and I started one vote.
Yeah.
The wrong way cost my union, my local,
right.
a good deal of money. So
wow.
Yeah. Not gonna be that one time.
Yeah.
So it's still important. People say I'm not into politics. I said, do you work on a job?
There you go. Politics all everywhere.
It's office politics, job politics. It's the same thing.
That's true.
It's compromise. It's getting along with people. It's working to where it works for everybody. And the rules and the principles are pretty much the same.
Wow.
Somebody told me politics you can't get around it. You
got
to pay a birth certificate to get here, and a death certificate to get
leave.
Yeah. And you got to see them
all day, every day. Yeah.
Right. What they say, death and taxes.
Taxes.
Yeah. They never last.
Wow, that's really cool. Do you we just talked about there's a governor race coming up. Governor. Oh my goodness.
J.B. Pritzker.
Yeah, J.B. Pritzker's running again.
Running for
re-election. And then you have
actually,
a sheriff.
Yeah, I just since you brought that up, actually, I just got I got a couple of pieces of information.
Yep. So listen to these folks. These some good information you want to listen to.
John Tracy, who was previously I think run for Illinois governor as a Republican before, he was our national committee person.
Right.
But his term limit expired.
Yep.
But he has somebody just sent me an article. He has expressed interest in running
for governor.
Yes.
Wow.
And then I'm trying. My phone is doing what it wants to do. I was trying to. Is a gentleman that DuPage who's looking to run, who actually had a conversation with my associate Quentin Barton. So that's gonna be the thing where I'm in the process now. I have to, with people coming up and saying, okay, I'm stepping to the plate. We're gonna have some conversations to who should we be supporting in the primary.
Wow.
Some decisions, and I'm not gonna make it by myself. I'm gonna probably have conferences and confer with my business partner, with some other committee people, some of the
people that's here. Wow.
Right.
So yeah, that is wonderful because I know we got a sheriff. He's from DuPage.
He's like I said,
yeah.
My guy was on the phone with him today, but I wanted to at least mention his name. Jimmy Lee Tillman, I think, is running statewide also. Again, a personal friend of mine, as is Pastor Anthony Wilson. I think he's looking at U.S. Senate.
U.S. Senate, yeah.
So it's certainly with the Democratic side, the governor is backing Julia Stratton for U.S. Senate.
His lieutenant governor.
His lieutenant governor. And my Congresswoman Robin Kelly is looking
Yeah.
He's he's a force to be reckoned with. I think.
Wow.
They say he has 20 million in his war chest, and he's capable of raising similar
Racing.
sums.
Oh, wow.
And I will say this here, for my history, the East Indian community and the Greek community, they give their hand, and the Irish community used to. I haven't looked at that as much.
Right.
All you gotta say is a Greek, Irish, or East Indian boy, and they're there. They support.
They support.
If we supported our politicians like they do, we could
We can
it
do
would
some
be a
good
different
things.
landscape.
Wow.
But yeah, so his money against JB's money,
It's gonna be.
you know,
It's gonna be a fight.
it's
It's gonna be.
it's gonna be interesting.
It,
I like my congresswoman, and I kind of happen to know her.
Yeah.
Friends in that, and I do think that we need common sense
Yeah.
gun legislation.
Yes, we do.
You know,
I agree.
National background checks and 3-day wait.
Yeah.
I don't want to take nobody's gun, but I don't want. Look, we keep hearing the mass. We're not even talking about Chicago.
It's everywhere.
Shoot them one at a time.
Yeah.
You lost your brother.
I lost my brother recently. Yeah.
Look, my life changed in '94. My nephew was gunned down in Inglewood, and
Yeah.
I couldn't go back to the life I had before.
Yeah. It's like the gun laws. I really think we should have them, because if we don't have them, you just got idiots out there that just can go and get a gun and shoot anybody and everybody. It's not just here in Chicago where we got mass shootings at. It's all over. We had what, this whole year we might have had maybe 2 school shootings where innocent kids are getting killed for no apparent reason.
You know, Illinois has one of the strictest gun laws around, but when you can bring guns in from Indiana and other places,
Yeah.
and when there's no national situation,
Then it's
then you know it doesn't matter how strict your gun laws are.
Yeah, they're gonna bring them regardless.
And then the other thing, they said that they would revoke guns from folks, but they didn't. The problem is that local law enforcement say, yeah, you want me to do it, but you haven't. It's an unfunded mandate.
Right. Exactly.
So why am
Exactly.
I'm gonna go to a man's house and take his gun just because you revoked it?
Yeah.
And there's no automatic process to do that. So
It's a lot, and it's like this whole everything, because we both grew up in different communities. Some were bad, some were good.
Well, let me. I grew up in the Inwood, and I've been in Roseland, and I spent part of my growing up in Robbins, Illinois.
Yeah.
So the reason I brought that up was a couple of years ago we had a float at the Billiken Parade, a Republican float. So the stereotype,
man.
Don't just guess what? All the Republicans aren't racist, okay? I retired from state government 6 months early because I had a downstate Democrat racist boss, okay?
Yeah.
So we don't have a monopoly on it.
I tell you, yeah.
So that being said,
because a lot of people think that. A lot of people think that, oh man, Republicans are
so getting back to the stereotype. So somebody shouts out to the float with the stereotypical, go back to the north side. I said, well, I'm from Roseland and Inglewood, so what should I do? Tell me how that works.
Well, go follow. No, yeah, it's a lot, and it's a lot going on around here, and a lot of people are not educated on what's happening throughout the times, even with the governor race. And a lot of people, it's like, oh man, well, JB made squatter law into office where police can finally take him out. Well, we've been trying to get that for how long? Since you first got in office.
Thank you, Marcus Evans.
So it took you just towards your end of your term, just because you're going to go re-elect you want to run for re-election, where it's like, oh, you know what? Let me put this in here so I can get people to vote for me again.
That's a good point.
What
happened during COVID was the laws really bent over backwards to try to accommodate the people because of the extenuating circumstance.
Yeah.
And listen, let me say this here. My next door neighbor lost. That was his first time. He was his first time rental property buyer.
Yes.
And he lost his building because of the COVID situation, and his tenants took advantage, and he lost his
and he lost his. Yeah.
So the laws have to be mindful of both sides of the equation.
Yeah, exactly. So then that's like, people's like, well, but it's this, it's that. It's like, yeah, the pandemic. I get that we all went through a pandemic. But laws are still laws. We still got to do this, but now you want to bring this law, squalor law, into where police can finally go and take people out. What we was trying to get that law since Barack was in office, and now you're like, oh, I'm going for re-election now, so I'm just going to write this and sign this into law, but it doesn't take effect until next year.
Well,
So
well, that was interesting. You say that, and you categorize it like that. What? And I've been having conversations with some of my friends and associates, and I will say this too. The other issue that I personally think the governor is kind of in between a rock and a hard place is Larry Hoover.
oh yeah,
President Trump
oh yeah,
commuted his national sentence, and guys that I know, um, my Mason brother Wallace Gator Bradley,
yeah,
of everybody I know, he's never stopped talking about letting 75-year-old Larry Hoover out.
oh yeah,
Um,
oh yeah,
so the governor has to make a decision about his state commutation.
yeah,
And some African American Democrats have stood up for that. And quite frankly, now that we look back, they locked up the gang kingpins. They kept order. Them guys,
yeah,
you had to. It's just like the mafia. You
yeah.
couldn't just go hit somebody. You had to.
You had to get it
You
approved.
violations.
Yeah.
Listen, them young guys, all they used to talk about is I got violations and I did this and that. Look, it was a vice lord that threatened me, and some gangster disciples I know went and interceded. Like, hey,
Yeah.
that guy can't talk to my guy like that.
Yeah.
You know? And there was rules. Yeah. There was a structure to it. Them guys got all locked out, and it was every gang, every street fighting the other street
For themselves now.
Then high police official, I'm not gonna call his name, several years ago, basically said that when Young Daley tore down the projects that Old Man Daley never should have built,
Right.
that all those guys that came out of the projects moved on your block, and now they fighting with the gang, with the guys that were already selling drugs. So
yeah.
now it's gunplay. They
Yeah.
sold drugs for years, and it wasn't no gunplay, but now it's gunplay.
Now it's gunplay, and it's like it's so. JB Prince got a lot on his plate this coming election, which is a lot of people, a lot of black Democrats is like, hey, what are you gonna do? You're gonna get rid of it? You're gonna pardon him like Trump already did? So now it's in.
Yeah, like I said, I'd like to see. I personally, like I said, and quite frankly, my position on Larry Hoover has changed over the years. But part of it is through stuff that I've come to see and learn.
Yeah.
And so like I said, the man is 75 years old.
Yeah, he did his time.
You know,
that's another story for for another day. But it's been.
But
it's,
again, these conversations I've been having this week with different people about the whole gang. Look, the Black Panthers were the ones that started feeding the kids, which the schools took over.
Yep.
Most of the origins, if you look at the origins of black and brown gangs in Chicago, L.A., those gangs were formed because of police brutality.
Yeah,
100%.
Okay,
so you really just and look, before all the guns were let on the street in Chicago, and before in the 70s, you took the steel, you took the industrial jobs from the hood, the stockyards closed. You stopped having trade schools in the inner city.
Yeah.
The cream of the crop moved to the suburbs.
Yep.
And it was a proliferation of crack cocaine and guns on the street.
That's right.
So it's a formula for failure. Okay?
Yeah.
And you can't just demonize the people that were the victims of that. Okay. Yeah. You got to look beyond that.
Yeah. And that's some true stuff right there. And I didn't grow up. My dad, he talks about it a lot. He's like, man, back then we didn't have all this. These young people now, they're just reckless and things like that, just going to shoot any and everybody. You went. I think it was like a shooting not too long ago at a funeral, dude.
Our church member was.
One of our church members was at a funeral, and
over there, 79th and Trooper there about.
Yeah.
Where they shot about 12. It's a couple of years ago where they shot about 12 people outside the funeral.
Yeah, and it's like, what is wrong with you guys? And I tell a lot of people. My mom, she used to do some of this stuff too, but I was like, it's the old heads now have to step in to if you got some old school gang members that's probably still active to this day. It's time for y'all to step in. And we can sit here and say every single day, it's the old people. We can tell them, we can give advice. It's like, no, it's time for you guys to take control again. Because back then everything was smooth. You didn't have no problems. You probably had some here and there, but it wasn't where we getting innocent people, innocent bystanders getting shot just
Well,
because they hanging out with.
I don't know how you close that door. I
I,
know
I
guys.
don't either.
Listen, I know like guys, ex offenders like Mark Carter and Paul McKinley, who are trying to tell these guys, man, look, that all them years in prison, that's
It's not worth it.
right. Do something different. But again, you got the village got to be responsible
Yeah.
to listen. You know,
It's time for the village to understand that we got to listen.
and I have been saying this here for the last, I guess, out loud for the last 3 or 4 years. People, cavalry is not white.
No, it's not.
Black people have to treat each other better. It is. My wife and I went out of state on a extended vacation, and it was only a handful of African Americans. First, we like, is we gonna be the only African Americans? And ran into a few, and they're all very pleasant and from different places, and good stories and this and that. And then I get back to Chicago, where people are running lights and coming around you on, in road rage and blasting their music and littering in the streets and.
Yep.
And I said, well, look, you know what? I said we saw black people on the we went on a cruise. We saw black people on the cruise, but we didn't see no niggas.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I laugh. I'm gonna talk about my pastor, but who was it? A couple of years ago. We went on vacation, and the week before we went on vacation, he said, "Oh, the Johnsons are going on vacation," and then. So we got back, like you were saying, you were tired from whatever. We got back on a Saturday night and late.
Yeah.
And we drug ourselves to church the next
Drugged
morning.
us up to church.
We got in late the night before. So he was quite, I guess, pleased and surprised to see, oh, the Johnsons came to church after that 2-week vacation. Yes, Pastor, and I want to thank you for telling the whole world that we were on vacation for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And Miss Cherie, the pastor's wife, looked over and she said, what they take? I said, girl, we'll talk later. Anyway.
Yeah, we drug ourselves, and it's really kind of crazy because
people, seriously, don't post on Facebook that you're out of town. Post pictures when you come back.
When you come back,
okay?
Post when you come back.
If you live in the hood, okay.
If you live in the hood, post when you come back. Don't post while you're out of town, because then it's a whole another different story. But you see, I think there was a reporter asked Mayor Brandon Johnson, "What are you gonna do about this teen takeover, which we had last year?" Mm-hmm. Which, to me personally, I don't blame the teenagers for a lot of things. I mostly blame the parents. To me personally, and because my mom would tell you, she if I'm down there with them young people and I was young just like them, she would literally come find me, beat the snot out of me, and then drag me back home and be like, "What are you doing?" And then it's crazy because now you got tourists who comes to our city to see the bean, sometimes for Christmas, sometimes for whatever event we got going on, but they're leaving because you got young people that doesn't care. Cops can't do what they need to do because as soon as they put their hands on one, oh, it's police brutality. It's this. It's that. It's because he's black, or it's because where are the parents at?
Oh, it does. It is very, very much what I've been saying about the parents got to step up.
Yeah.
The teachers can't teach your kids if they don't come there. I mean, listen, I know some teachers, and it's just absolute horror story.
Yeah.
And they just lay everything in the teacher's lap, and solve things.
It doesn't.
But it's the social media. I mean, what happened with the Rodney King
situation?
Not the George Floyd. Right.
George Floyd, yeah.
What they would do, they would set a fire over here.
Yep.
And then the fire people would over there and they go loot over here.
Yeah.
And
And it's
all these people are, you know, on the social media. We all go bum rush. 50 people go run in the store. It's nothing the security can do.
it's nothing he can do. He is, and it's like it's to the point where we got a lot of people, especially in the black community. It's we can say, oh, we white, a lot of people. I've seen things that I was like, man, people's like, well, white people got all this nice stuff. Well, we can have nice stuff too if we stop messing it up.
Listen, that closing the Walgreens and everything else in our communities because looting is just
Because loot is
absolutely out of hand.
ridiculous. But we blame the kids every single time. It's like, man, these kids are out of control. But let me tell you something: the parents are out of control too, because the parents these days now are trying to not be parents; they're trying to be their kids' friends.
That's true. That's true.
And you know, and it's like, why are you trying to be your child's friend? You are the parent.
Let's say when the grandma is going to the club.
It's like, really, like, come on now. And it's like, why are we you? And the same thing. I used to.
But that's what happened. It was so rough on generations.
Yeah.
And folks grew up poor and struggling. So you look back and you're like, I'm not gonna make my kids struggle.
Right.
Like I did.
Right.
So, man, when we have an issue, we more often than not tend to overreact.
Right.
So it's always we always auto.
Yeah.
You know.
I agree.
So it's that, and then we got where I don't know. Like I said, I had a conversation with a guy. It's much easier to grow up when I grew up. Like I said, wasn't no guns on the street.
Yeah.
It was you fish for it.
That's literally.
Guys, if you my boy, your job is to keep the fight 1-on-1.
That's it.
Okay, so if they're not shooting you, 12 guys came to jump on my son. Okay, because there's no rules of engagement.
It's none. It's none.
They shoot you over the pettiest thing.
It's
there's no anger management. It's just a whole plethora
yeah.
of problems.
It's just
which is why we are sitting here in church.
Literally, this is why, and it's getting out of control. You can't even have the little kids now. It's like you go into a nice neighborhood. You got kids riding bikes. You got kids walking to the store without parents just can look down the street. Okay, he's there. He's with his friends, and go back in the house, and nothing happens. Mm-hmm. But in our community, kids can't even go outside.
Yeah, our parks are very much underutilized, and in many cases, it is the stigma of 4 years ago.
Yeah,
so and so got shot at the park, or the gangs used to
set up
and it's on one side or the other.
And it's like now, and then parents like, well, we can sit here and complain all day, every day, behind closed doors. But when it's time to get out there and say, hey, what are you gonna do to protect my kids? Because this gang stuff is getting out of what our mouth is shut completely. And then we's like, well, this person got in office because of this. Well, no one's speaking up. You got some people that are like, yeah, I'm speaking up, I'm trying to fight back, but if it's just me by ourselves, because when you grew up, Brother Wayland, which not trying to sound like it's anything, but you guys was all united. You can't get that now because I'm mad at her. She did this. It's like it's a whole argument, and then it's like you got kids beating up adults now, and adults can't fight back because then the kid's gonna try. I'm gonna call child services on you for beating on this. It's like this gentle parenting crap. Listen, the Bible says, "Spare the." If you don't put that belt to that behind, it's you're not gonna the new generation. It's not gonna make it to 30 to 50 years old, and that's literally what it's looking like. Because you got kids having babies and then babies having babies out here, and it's like, what's your problem? Well, my mom doesn't care what I do, blah blah blah. Well, she needs to. Well, my dad's not doing. Well, you need to go find him, or if you got a stepdad, he needs to beat you and literally do a lot of things because it's unreal to see the black community struggle this hard to try to keep their kids safe from all the gun violence or from all the gang violence. Everywhere you look, there's a person getting shot at the corner store. Now we got to shut this down. We got looting at the Walmart. Now we got to shut this down because they don't want to be here. They're losing money here. And then and then a lot of people wonder why we don't have nice things. This is why.
But again, it's got to start with the person in the mirror.
Start with yourself.
Just one person at a time. We know what some of the problems are. They're very widespread.
Yep.
We didn't get here overnight.
That's true.
In my mind, when you have when you're African American and you kidnap person in a stolen country, and the history of the laws of the country have been to keep you stagnated.
Right.
And the philosophy is a self hatred philosophy. I was here in the '60s and with Black Pride and I know that things that James Brown was sanctioned for singing songs like Santa Claus Go Straight to the Ghetto and Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud.
Yep.
And it was a whole thing about Black Pride.
Right.
It coming from before. Let's look at before the '60s. You had no black people on TV.
Nope.
If you saw a black person on TV, it was an event. Hey, Sammy Davis gonna be on after the commercial. Nat King. Everybody in the house ran to the TV.
That's right. Yeah.
We didn't have role models. We didn't have cowboys.
Yep.
There was no white cowboy.
No.
Because they didn't call them boys.
Yeah.
Cowboys were black.
Yep.
Cowhands were white.
Yep.
They took our whole history. They took Bass Reeves with the Long Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
You made it seem like we was happy slaves.
Yeah.
Slaves escaped to Canada, Mexico. The Seminole Wars were about slaves. It's just the history of this country. We're still lying about the history of this country.
Still.
And what do they say about history? If you don't learn from history, you're gonna repeat it.
You're gonna repeat it. It's a cycle. It's a cycle.
It has to come from within and from without.
Yep.
Which is why I tell people to be involved in politics, because we got to make these people do what we need them to do.
You're absolutely right.
And we have a situation now. Not only is the politicians scared of maybe the guy that's sitting in the White House, or scared of Elon Musk and his money, but they're scared of the farmers' money. They're scared of oil money, and we're not being listened to.
Yeah.
So we can't. We gonna go further and forward. We're gonna end up with nothing. We're gonna be in boxcars, people.
Yep.
Until we stand up.
That's right. We're gonna keep going. Well, it's gonna be a part 2 of this, because this gets good every single time. I'm talking to Brother Wayland. I love talking to him. He's awesome. Good man of God. Good brother of mine. We're gonna do one last thing, Brother Wayland. If you got any advice for the young people, the young generations, no matter what race they are, you can share one thing with them. What would that be?
Get in the Word. Get in the Word. We are so materialistic, and money is just a means to an end. Money is not the answer. It is believing in God, wanting to get to heaven, and knowing how to get to heaven.
Amen.
And also, that's going to help your quality of life here. It's about peace of mind, and it's about knowing why God created this world. He didn't create this world for us to get rich.
That's right.
He don't hate the fact we get rich, but and then listen, if you do the right thing, the book says that. The book says that. If you can't receive if your hands are not open.
Amen.
Okay, so that's all. I just told like I said, I was talking to my 10-year-old, and he talk about the issues with his younger sibling, and I said, well, they asked Christ what were the two most important commandments. He said, love your God as with everything you got.
Yep.
And I told my grandson, I said, love your neighbor / brother.
Yep.
Okay. And again, we do it we ordered to do it, but let's do it out of love. Let's operate out of love. Let's be nice. Let's please and thank you. I'm on vacation with the kids. They say something to me. Please, yes, right away.
Yep.
Those words make me feel.
Yep, that's true.
Let's do that for one another, okay?
That's good.
Love each other in the way that God loved us.
That's good. That's some good stuff. Well, I'll be. That's man. I love Brother Wayland. He's gonna be back with me soon, and we're gonna be talking more.
As soon as the check clears.
As soon as the check clears. As soon as the check clears, he's gonna be back on here on God Talk with us very soon.
I got PayPal.
You got PayPal?
No, I don't have PayPal. I got cash.
You got cash out. So we always love it, and I love hanging out with him. Listen, like, subscribe. We do this for a reason. We want to educate you guys, especially on politics. No matter if you're a Democrat, no matter if you're a Republican, we still want to educate you on what's happening around the United States of America and around the world. I'll be back on here later tonight, but this time I will be with my wife. We're gonna talk about some things with my wife growing up as a bus kid. Because she grew up as a bus kid, I grew up as a bus kid, growing up in First Baptist Church, and growing up in church. Period. So my wife's gonna come back on with me about around 7 o'clock tonight, and then we're gonna talk more about that, and we're gonna take a break. For now, I know I've been on here for like an hour and 27 minutes, but we talk about politics a lot. We talk about a lot of things, which is good. Like, subscribe, hit that follow button. I will be back to see you guys very shortly at around 7 o'clock back on here with my wonderful wife, and I can't wait to have her on. This is her first time coming on my YouTube channel and podcast. So I love you guys. God bless.